Today we're going to be taking a look at my PSP collection. I love my PSP. I think it's one of the greatest handhelds of any era. Without further ado, let's have a look at what we got. Right, so first off for the sealed games, we've got Gunpei or Gunpei. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce this. I haven't played this game. I don't know anything about it. I've just got it cheap. It looks like some sort of puzzler, maybe with a techno vibe, techno music. It's a hyped up puzzler, I guess. I'll put a screenshot or video down below. Yes, now this game, Fate Extra. I have played this game. I really enjoy it. It's one of my favourite games. I have played it on a unsealed copy, which I've since sold, but I've kept this one sealed for nostalgia and for my own personal reasons. If you can catch this cheap enough, get one quick before they sell out. Eye of Judgment Legends. Now, Eye of Judgment I did have on the PlayStation 3. I don't know what the PSP version is like. I don't even know if you need the camera or anything, but I paid literally £4 for this bad boy. £4. Again, anything under £5 is just all day long. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to pick it up. There's not much under a £5 that I will ever turn down unless I'm not interested in it. Blaze Blue, Calamity Trigger. Another great fighting game. Good graphics. I would say that the graphics are better than the game. Don't shoot me on that one. This guy here always bugs me because he looks like the guy from that famous anime, Monaco's Princess. Now, if you haven't seen Monaco's Princess, I suggest you go see it. It is a classic, great anime. It's a little bit lengthy, but it's worth it if you can stick with it. Now we have a funky and fast becoming rare game, Me and My Katamari. Now, it's basically the theory of a dung beetle. You're basically cleaning up the planet, I think the aim of the game is. And this big boss bloke is throwing a lot of rubbish onto Earth, random objects and items, and you have to roll them up into a big ball to clean up the planet. I mean, it's a very strange, it's very Japanesey, it's great, it's fun. Definitely have a go if you can get hold of a copy. Dante's Inferno, easily described as a God of War clone, but a very good one. That's the thing. This is a very good game. Do not think because it's a clone that it's no good or it's going to be a carbon copy. It holds its own. It's got its own mechanics. It's got a great vibe to it. A good game and cheap. Right, next up, one of my favourite games of all time, Panya. Now, it's golf and it's cutesy golf. But those who know me and follow my streams know that I love anything cutesy golf. Everybody's golf, everybody's tennis, that whole series. Panya is a very similar type of game to those. Now, this game has got a little backstory to it. As you can see, it's sealed. If you don't know anything about this game, I suggest you go and look it up. I sold a PSP back in the day for the measly sum of £20. And when I gave that PSP away, which I still kick myself for, I included a copy of Panya in the back of it because I didn't know it was there and I completely forgot, and the guy who bought it caught me off guard. He must have got home, opened it up and thought it was Christmas. So basically I had to go back onto Amazon a few years later when I could afford it and pay double what I originally paid to get another copy, which I've kept sealed so that I do not lose it, and I begrudge paying that amount of money twice and double the second time. So here I have the case, as you can see. Inside, no game, it's just the manual, but at least I can show you inside the box, show you how nice the manual is and show you how nice the packaging is. I've got the game installed on my PSP and I've also got it installed on the GPD. So if you've seen my GPD video, you see that I do show my PSP emulator on now, and that has got Panya installed. Very good game. If you can get yourself a copy, whether it be cheap or expensive, I suggest you go get one. It's a great game. Hours of fun. Right, now something a little bit more special. We have a big box version, I guess you call it, of Lord of Arcana. Now, I hope I pronounced that right. It's by Square Enix. It's the Slayer edition. Great game. I'm going to say most of these games are great because they're my collection, but it is a great game. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. It's one you can buy the standard boxed edition quite cheap nowadays. I love this. I just love the fact that I've got the big box version. You can see the lovely artwork on the back. Now, obviously the game don't look this great, but exclusive mini soundtrack CD, hardback 44-page book, a great collector's edition. Can't go wrong. Now we're going to go on to my I don't know what you call them, black spine versions. I don't know what else to call them. There's quite a few variations of the spines, so we'll just go by that. Okay, so first up, Spectral versus Generation. Very weird name, not overly popular, not overly known really, this game, but it is a great 2D fighter. If you like your fighting games like moi, then you are going to love this game. It's got some great special moves in it. It plays like the Blaze Blue series, I would say. Every Extend Extra. Now there's a mouthful. Again, another game I haven't yet played. From what I know of it, I've always wanted it because of the cover art. It's always intrigued me. And as you can see on the back here, you've got some sort of shooting rhythm game, I guess. Again, I'll throw a video up in the bottom left just so you can see what it's all about. Great game, very cheap. Classic, Midnight Club free, dub edition. Now, I sunk many hours into this. My Xbox was the best way for me to play it because the graphics are a little bit better, it run a little bit smoother, and you could have your own soundtrack playing in the background. PSP version didn't let me down. Many hours spent on the PSP version. Yes, the graphics are simpler. Yes, there's not as many tracks and cars variations, but still, for a portable game, wicked, absolutely wicked. Okay, next up we have Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. Now, I liked these games, but I also didn't feel that they were PSP worthy, and what I mean by that is, it's a 2 analog stick game. You know, you need to control the camera, and the way that they do the button layouts on these games frustrated me. Although they're playable, and I did have a lot of enjoyment with them, they are a bit awkward. Okay, Alien vs Predator Requiem. Great game. Now, it's done by Sierra. Sierra is a hit and miss company for me, I feel, but this one's a hit. It's a great game. It's very fun. I spent a good week on this, just finishing it off. There's unlockables. There's things to find. You can play as the Predator, which is just great. I mean, handheld Predator. What more do you want to know about it? Gangs of London. Now, Gangs of London leaves a bad taste in my mouth, to be honest. It came along the time when Grand Theft Auto was being released, and you also had The Getaway on the PS2. It was basically trying to emulate both of those games squashed together. It didn't do a great job. It has got a lot of curse words in it. It has got a lot of adult content, but it seems just put in there for the sake of selling the game. A Smackdown versus Raw game. It is what it is. Let's skip to the next one. Star Wars Lethal Alliance. Now, this is a game. This was where I first realised that Star Wars games could be a thing. It's got great combat, great story. It's just a good game. And if you get a chance to play it, I suggest playing it. I would never get rid of this game now I've played it. It's a good game. Right, Star Wars 2, the original trilogy. Now, although I haven't played this particular game, I have spent a hell of a lot of time with the Star Wars original trilogy. I do believe it's the third one, so it'll be the one after this. I think it's called The Complete Saga, something along them lines. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. I would assume this plays the same. The front of the cover says they got 10 out of 10. I mean, it's a great game. Any of the Lego games are great. Right, so another Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. Now this one I do recommend. This one is very good. I don't recommend it on the PSP though. I would rather you go and play this on DS. It feels like it was meant for the DS. The pen and the double screen, it's just natural. This is a bit iffy. This is sort of, I don't know, the controls are not quite there. It wants you to hold buttons and move things around in awkward ways because there's no touch screen. Just go and play it on the DS. It's the better version. So that's it for the black spines. We now have the silver strip spines, which were for platinum editions. God of War, Chains of Olympus. There's nothing I can say about this game that hasn't already been said. It's great, it's amazing. Get yourself a copy ASAP if you haven't already. It's one of the most beautiful looking PSP games. It runs smooth. If you want a portable version of God of War, this is the one for you. Again, another copy of Midnight Free Dub Edition. That's how much I like this game. I probably picked it up cheap. Now, another game that needs no introduction whatsoever. Gran Turismo. Looks gorgeous. Plays gorgeous. Everything's as it should be. Many hours of fun to be had. Get yourself a copy of this. Ratchet & Clank size matters. Now, there was a few Ratchet & Clank games on the PSP, as there was on the PS2. I haven't been a big fan of the series, to be honest, and I do like my platformers, but I think these came out at a time where I was looking for more adult-orientated games, you know, first-person shooters and open-world games, so still a great game, just didn't play it much. Burnout Revenge. What more can you say about Burnout? One of the greatest racing games of any generation. It's the dog's bollocks. I mean, 1 and 2, yeah, there wasn't much content. It was mostly just racing. But anything after that, Burnout Revenge, Burnout Takedown, oh my god, great games. Can't rate them enough. Now we're going to go for Coloured Spines, which are games that have their own logos and designs posted along the spine. Micro Machines V4. Oh my god, Codemaster smashed it with this. They smashed it with the Mega Drive version, or Genesis, depending on where you're from, and they smashed it with the PSP version. Anything after the PSP version was a bit naff and I wouldn't recommend it, but PSP, definitely, all day long. Grip Shift, another surprising racing game. When this came out, I loved the artwork on the front, I loved the screenshots on the back. I thought, that's a game for me. I paid but £5 for it when it first came out, I think. And I've had many hours with it. It's a great game. Although the camera angle is a little bit funky at times. It's just like your car's too close to the camera. But other than that, great game. Fun as hell. Sims 2. Don't like Sims. Don't play Sims. Not interested in Sims. It's Sims. Free Running. Right, this was a game I picked up because I've never seen anything like it. At the time when this come out, I've never heard of a game where you would go free running. The closest thing I can think of is Downhill BMX. And that's another great game, but that's on PS2 and Xbox. Not that great of a game, to be honest, but, you know, it was 10 minutes of fun for cheap. WRC series. Any of these games are good if you're into rally. Portable rally as well, looks great, plays great. The fact that you're only just a single car on the road means that they can concentrate more on producing better environments and nicer scenery. This Colin McRae car right here reminds me of the cover of the PlayStation 1 Colin McRae game. Oh my god, what a great game that was. How many hours did I spend with that? More than I'd like to think about. Little Big Planet. Now, Little Big Planet, the first one, which is this one, and the one that they released on PlayStation 3. Oh, so many hours spent just running around, creating, sticking stickers on things, being completely creative. I loved it. I felt that the series got a little bit let down by adding too much platforming to the newer games, but I lost interest after the first one. I didn't play the others that much. Ridge Racer 2. Now, there's nothing to be said other than Ridge Racer. I mean, it's Ridge Racer. I loved all the Ridge Racers. I've played Ridge Racer 1, Revolutions, Rage Racer, Ridge Racer 4. To have 2 games released on a PSP of Ridge Racer that played like the console blew my mind. It was just as quick, just as fast paced, and I loved every minute of it. They are right up my street, those games. Now, Megamind. I know nothing about Megamind other than it is an animated film. Great fun. For a kids or young teen, probably going to have a laugh with this one. I haven't personally played it. Screenshots look good. Midway Arcade Treasures Extended Play. Now, it's basically Midway Arcade Treasures with a few extra games on here. The PSP represented for the retro generations. I mean, I am of that retro generation. I'm an 80s born child, early 80s, so I fully appreciate the games that they put on this collection. I mean, you got Spy Hunter, Sinister, Defender, Paperboy. My generation, we had Cyberball 2072, Mortal Kombat 1, 2 and 3. Now that was a big deal. To be able to play Mortal Kombat 1, 2 and 3 when this game come out was a first. I don't think there was any other portable version of those games that was any good, and this one was arcade perfect. I mean, it smashed it. So if you like Mortal Kombat, this is the collection to get. Okay, a random one for me. Gretzky. It's well, it's ice hockey. I know nothing about ice hockey. I've not played this game. I don't know why I even own this game. I don't know where this game come from. But yeah, Gretzky. I'm hoping it's good. Miami Vice. Now, Miami Vice, 18 certificate, quite a violent game, few swears in there. Actually, very surprising game. It's good. It's actually good. It's not just a movie, not, you know, a movie franchise chucked out as a game to earn a few quid. It's pretty decent. I'd recommend having a go at this one. Right, Fat Princess. Fistful of Cake. Now, again, I've picked this game up mainly for its title and artwork. I don't know anything about it. I've not played it yet. I haven't had the time. From what I understand, I looked up some footage of this game. It looks great. It actually looks fun. I would recommend it just based off of the footage I've seen. Kind of a tower defense puzzly type of game. I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's great. You can play 2 PSPs off against each other if you have a friend who's got a PSP and a copy of the game. It just looks so much fun. Now, Gun Showdown. I spent a hell of a lot of time with the PS2 version of Gun when it first came out. I think it was before Red Dead Redemption, if I remember rightly. So it was the first sort of good cowboy game to be released. I know it was an Xbox 360 launch title because in the UK, because I had it. And God, did I play it to death. And I think they did a great job. You're basically getting the same game, just scaled down graphics. It's good. I liked it. Frantics. Now, I bought this game again for the artwork. I don't know really what it's about. Haven't really played it. It's by Ubisoft. Again, another company where you're going to go 50-50 with them. Do you know what I mean? Looking at it, it looks like a puzzler. I don't know. It actually looks really good. I feel that I should play this game. So I'm going to play this game. Pursuit Force. Now, Pursuit Force series. Great series. Came out of nowhere. If you've ever played Pursuit Force, you know what I mean. It was really pushed on the PSP. I remember seeing it in nearly every shop I went into. The graphics were great. It had voice acting. Kind of like Chase HQ from back in the day. If you like Chase HQ, this is the next step. Great game. I suggest picking it up ASAP. MX versus ATV. On the edge. These games come 10 to a penny. They're on every system. There's always God knows how many of them. Some are good, some are amazing, and most of them suck. So this one, I would say, was pretty decent for a portable. If you like ATV and you like motocross, I'm a motorbiker myself. I would suggest trying this one out if you can. Okay, next up we have 300. Now, 300 was a great film. I thought it was a film that really changed the game for the movie industry in general. And we do love some spray on abs now, don't we? So yeah, great film. Game doesn't let you down. It's enjoyable. The thing with the PSP is you've always got to bear in mind is it's a console in your hand. Are they better than mobile phone games? 90% of these games destroy phone games. Popo Loco Popo. I can pronounce it if I really want to. It's an RPG from what I understand, and it's a very charming RPG. I haven't had the time to delve into it. I haven't even popped it in the system as yet. But from what I understand, it's beautiful. It looks beautiful. It looks very charming. It's something that any RPG fan should have in their collection. I don't know if it's cheap or not, but I would assume it is. Popolo Croix. That's my best attempt. Astonisher Story. I think I've pronounced that right. Again, another RPG. Top-down, Chrono Cross type RPG. I quite liked it, but I felt there was a lack of content with it. I lost interest. It's got a lot of strategy to it, which I'm not overly keen on. But it is a good RPG for those who like that sort of thing. Now, I do collect RPGs for the PSP, and I do enjoy owning RPGs in general. I will buy RPGs till I'm blue in the face and just have them on the shelf and never play them, just because I love the artwork. I love the fact that I've got something for RPGs, and I think it all started with Final Fantasy VII. I think that just flipped my world upside down. Now, here's a little treat. I'll show you two at once. Ben 10 games. Now, don't underestimate Ben 10 games. Essentially what they are side-scrolling beat-em-ups or side-scrolling shoot-em-ups. Now, they're two genres that, for me, are great. I started with Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Streets of Rage 2, Sonic, Darius, Gaiden, all these sort of games, you know, and these Ben 10 games take a lot of influence from those types of games. And what you'll find beneath the surface of these games is not the great story, not the great characters. Yes, they're for kids, designed for kids, but you'll find beat 'em ups and shoot 'em ups that hold their own. They're pretty decent. Need for Speed, Most Wanted. The Need for Speed series by EA was well represented on the PSP, and for good reason. There's nothing I can say about these games or any in the series prior to the last three that have been released that have been a bit lackluster. They're all great. They're all worth your time. They're cheap, and I would play one of these PSP versions today. You know, they're so good. Naruto! Okay, so Naruto, great series on the PSP. I think at least I got 2 of these out of the series. Go and get yourself a copy of this. You've even got the function where you can use 2 PSPs to play against each other head to head. I think there's 2 or 3 in the series. They're cheap, you know, common. You can get them anywhere. Great games, great games. Booble Bobble Evolution. Now, I don't know if I've said that right, because I always say Bubble Bubble. Excellent gameplay in this. One of my favourite Bubble Bubble versions. You can't go wrong. It's cheap. It's fun. It's not just a kid's game. There's quite a level of difficulty in this as the levels progress. So give it a try. Def Jam Fight for New York Takeover. What a game this is. I have sunk so many hours into the Xbox and the PSP versions of this. One of my favourite fighting games of all time. It's in my top 5. The Xbox version, mwah, bellissimo. The PSP version, don't let you down. Yes, there's less stages. Yes, you can finish it in a day if you really want to. The PSP smashes it. This is a great version. Pick it up. It's not that cheap anymore, but hopefully you can find it for peanuts. SOCOM US Navy SEALs Fire Team Bravo. Now, this was my first introduction to the SOCOM series. Oh my God, was I eye-opened. This is a great tactical game. It's just fun. It's fast-paced. Even the controls, although they have sort of kind of, you know, because you ain't got that second thumbstick, do you know what I mean? There is a little bit of a learning curve, but even with that said, so much fun, worth getting to grips with the controls, worth a play. The Godfather, again, great Xbox title. I think I played this one on the 360. So good, so much fun. I haven't yet played it on the PSP, but I can imagine if it's good as the Def Jam Fight for New York conversion, I'm going to be having fun with this one as well eventually when I get round to it. Again, classic game, cheap, play it. Online Chess Kingdoms. I mean, what can I say about this one? I haven't played it. I didn't know it was in my collection. I've obviously picked it up cheap as a bundle somewhere, I guess. It looks alright, to be fair. I mean, the front cover's got some interesting artwork. Here's the back cover. It's done by Konami, which is very surprising. I really want to try this one just for the fact that Konami have done this game. So if any of you know anything about this game, drop it in the comments below because I want to know if it's worth playing. Coded Arms. Now, Coded Arms is kind of a PSP classic. They have Coded Arms 1 and 2, I do believe. I haven't yet to play this. It doesn't look like my type of game. I can't quite get to grips with using the function buttons to turn the camera around and look up and down. But all being said, it must be a good game because they sold thousands of copies of these. Everybody's Golf. Yes, Everybody's Golf. I love these series. Again, you've heard me talk about Panya. Everybody's Golf is the next best thing for me. I've got the PS4 one that I stream on a regular basis. Such good games. So good. The character design, the golf courses, the quirkiness, the cuteness, everything about it is just mental. And I love the series to bits. Taito Legends Power Up. Again, another classic compilation game. This version is exclusive to the PSP, as you can see in the top left corner. Includes 4 newly enhanced titles. As you can see on the back, you can see all the titles released if you want to pause the video. And at the bottom here, you can see the ones that are enhanced for the PSP. You've got Balloon Bomber, Crazy Balloon, and of course the Legend of Cage. If you're an old school gamer and you've got nostalgia for these games, this would be an amazing collection to own. Also, if you're not familiar with the series and maybe you just want to play some classic games that you know, weren't even born when they were out, go ahead and give this one a try. Peter Jackson's King Kong. Well, to be honest, with all the flack that this game got when it first came out, I personally enjoyed it. I got it as an Xbox 360 launch title. It actually came bundled with my Xbox 360. I played the shizzle out of it, and it was the only thing at the time that was really showing off the Xbox 360's capabilities against the previous generation consoles. I mean, I still stand by that the gameplay is fun if you take it for what it is, and that is a first-person shooter with dinosaurs in it. Final Fantasy Crisis Core. I mean, what can you say? This was a masterpiece, an absolute masterpiece. So good, so good. And believe it or not, this game is long, very long for a handheld, especially for a PSP game, but handheld games in general. This game has got some length to it. It's got some depth. I mean, it's just a good game. It's so good. It was a wicked, wicked game when it came out and still is a wicked game today. If you can, pick this one up. Alien Syndrome. Now, again, I'm going to keep saying these games are good because they're in my collection, but this was a shocker. I picked this up for like $2 or £2.50 UK. So cheap. It was just in a bargain bin. And when I got it home and played it, I thought like I was playing it while my dinner was cooking, and it was so good. So good. I ate my dinner quick. I got back on it. I played it for another 4 hours. Such a shocker. If you can, grab yourself a copy of this. Now, Tekken. What can I say about Tekken other than Tekken's Tekken? I mean, the PSP was the last time I ever played Tekken, and I thoroughly enjoyed them. But they're both great. I get confused as to which one's which because they are very similar. But again, a ton of hours, a ton of great fun had. You know, it's Tekken. Pick it up. Right, needs no introduction. Burnout Dominator. All the Burnout games, pick them up. End of. Just flat out, they're your first to pick up, you know. I can't rate the Burnout series high enough. Just amazing. Absolutely, truly amazing. Pimp My Ride. Now this was a utter disappointment. Finally a game that I can moan about. Just not good. It was absolutely not good. You basically drive around in a car trying to find parts to pimp other cars. I didn't really give this one the time of day. Just not good. I wouldn't recommend it. You know, if you can get it cheap enough, it's worth a look. As you can see up the top, we've got Roll with Exhibit. I mean, it doesn't even look like Exhibit. I don't even think it's voiced by Exhibit. They're just sound clips from the TV show. Avoid it like the plague, to be honest. Right, now we have up Smackdown versus Raw. And like I said before, it's wrestling. You can't do much with wrestling. It's wrestling. If you like wrestling, go ahead, get yourself a copy. I've got loads of these, as you can see. 2009, 2006. They're just endless. Every year they'll bring one out. Every year they get a little bit better. I always think if they were to take 5 years to make a wrestling game, the wrestling game would be absolutely awesome. But they don't. They knock them out every year like FIFA. They make a small improvement here, a small tweak there. Games are just meh. Dave Mirra BMX. Now, I know nothing about this game. I haven't played this game. I got it because it's a BMX game, and there have been some good BMX games in the past. I mean, I picked it up cheap. I'll give it a go one day. Madden 06. It's Madden 06. If you like Madden, get Madden. Tiger Woods. It's Tiger Woods. If you like Tiger Woods, get Tiger Woods. F1. It's F1 again. Monster Hunter 2 Freedom. Right, finally a game worth talking about. Now, this game, personally, was my introduction to the series, and I don't think it was the best introduction to the series because it actually put me off Monster Hunter games. I haven't played 3, 4. I last played the one on the 3DS. I will put the picture up because the name escapes me right now, but that was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I recommend the 3DS one like nobody's business, but this one was the one that I really struggled to get my head into. It was hard. It was confusing. The controls weren't good. Don't go back and play it unless you already have played it. And if you already have played it, you probably know the difference between like playing this and 4. So you can probably agree that this isn't the best intro for the series. Worms Open Warfare. It's Worms. There's nothing I can say about Worms that doesn't big Worms up more than people have already done. I love Worms. Handheld Worms is, you know, beyond my brain at the time. When this came out, I was like, yes, I have to get my hands on a copy of that. And I've played it since, and I still enjoy it. Obviously, there's PC versions now that are a lot better that I'll play, but this at the time was great. Blade Dancer. Now, an RPG that I thought was going to be amazing. I thought it was going to be like the next big thing. It's not. It's just not. It's got an interesting story-ish, but I paid barely anything for it, as you can see from this price tag. But it's kind of good if you like RPGs. Like, I can play any RPG and be quite happy to play it. So there is that, but it's not it's not one of the greats. It's not one on the PSP that you have to have, but it's definitely one that if you're an RPG fan, you would want to try. So give it a go if you fancy it, but it's not it's not a dead cert that you need it. SSX on Tour. SSX Tricky, I have to give it a big shout out on the Xbox and the PS2. I mainly played the Xbox version. So many hours when I should have been studying. SSX Tricky, big time fan. This one, just as good. Definitely worth a handheld version. Spent a lot of hours with it. The graphics are impressive. This one done away with the Tricky and had a new trick system. I wasn't as impressed with it. Rocky Balboa. Now Rocky, let's be fair. Great films. Not so great games. This game, worth a buy, worth a play. It's actually a shocker. I was so shocked. There's this Rocky Balboa, Then there's another Rocky game that they released as well. They are both good. They both hold their own. They're both fun. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Now, I tried to play this game for about an hour and it just didn't click with me. I haven't been able to play a Metal Gear Solid game since Metal Gear 2 Substance. That was the last one I played that I actually enjoyed. I didn't really like 3, which I'd like to go back and revisit. I'm not making that my final fault on that. I also tried the PS4 Metal Gear 5. Even though it's got a wicked intro, did not really click with me. Again, I want to go back and try it. This game, I can't really recommend it. But if you know more than me about it, go ahead and drop it in the comments for people. I'm sure it's good. Juiced Import Nights. I think it's Juiced 2 Import Nights. I can't see because of the sticker. But yeah, it's a great game, this. If you haven't played the Juice series and you like what I call Gary Boy cars or souped up machines or whatever you want to call it, Fast and Furious type cars. You've got drift events, you've got race events. So much going on with this game. And for a handheld version, it's great. Ridge Racer. Now again, Ridge Racer is Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer will always be one of my favourite racers. Such a good game. Saying that, I did not like Ridge Racer Unbound. I thought that was a pile of poopage. But everything else they've done, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Outrun 2006. Now, coast to coast, great game. I don't know what can be said about this that Metal Jesus already hasn't said. It's amazing. It's one of his favourites, one of my favourites. It's definitely in my top 5 PSP racer collection. Just to go out and get it. You know, it's not that cheap. It runs you about 10 British pounds. I mean, I don't know what it does for the American side of things, but if you can get a copy, definitely pick it up. It's worth it. Need for Speed Carbon. Now, I've already spoke about Need for Speed series and how good they are and how well represented they are. Carbon is one of my favourites. Here's the back of the box. There's no point in showing you because you should just go and buy them. Ghost Rider. Now this one's actually licensed by Marvel. It's good. I mean, it's basically a Gears of War clone, but it's not as good as we previously spoke about. It's pretty generic. It's got generic enemies, generic upgrades. It's alright. It does the job. It's not by no means a bad game, but at the same time, it's no means a good game. And that will wrap us up for the PSP collection. Now, I do have other PSP games that I may get my hands on to show later on if anybody wants to see them. Now, I'm going to go and have a drink. If you fancy it, smash the mofo like button down below. Leave me a comment so we can have a chat and get to know each other. Smash the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this, and other unboxings and other gameplays and gaming reviews are coming soon, I promise. All buying that, join me on Twitch every night of the week, 9 PM to 12 PM GMT UK time, and I hope to see all of you in the next video. Bye bye.